Hey there guys, it's Zologe here with a deck profile for a very interesting deck that I built a while ago. I made some modifications for it for the format, but this is the Voltic Gate. This is a very interesting hero build that I personally enjoy a lot more than the Bubble Beat, and it's probably going to be the more relevant version now with a friggin' masked hero, Darklaw, and the Shadow Mist coming out into the game this January. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile. I'm explaining choices as we go along. So first one, the one elemental hero, Wildheart. Now Wildheart is really interesting. He's a really crappy hero, but the reason why I run him at all is because I want access to a masked hero, DN, which is one of the, well, I guess more decent masked heroes that are level 8. It's actually pretty decent to have because when it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon one level 4 or lower hero monster from your deck, which is really important in this particular build. So having access to DN early on in the game is actually pretty cool. Now, the reason why, of course, as I said, why I run a Wildheart is because of this, but also because of cards that are coming in later on. Next, we run the triple elemental hero, Ocean. Now, waters play a big role in this because of the friggin' elemental, the masked hero Acid and the elemental hero Absolute Zero. Hands down, one of the more common fusions that we're gonna go into in this entire deck. And Ocean is pretty decent, I dare say, because if you manage to make him somehow stay on the field for a turn, even during your opponent's turn, you can add one, hero monster from your deck to your hand during your next standby phase after this guy's been summoned, of course. Next, we run the triple Blazeman. Now, this guy I haven't actually tested out a whole lot. The deck I ran earlier didn't have Blazeman, but I said, like, hey, why not try him out? And it actually makes the deck a whole lot easier to play because it gives me more room in the extra deck. Now, earlier I played Prisma instead of Blazeman, but now Blazeman actually makes things a whole lot easier. Sure, you can still play Prisma in the deck, don't get me wrong, he's still a pretty fantastic card, but Blazeman just makes things a whole lot easier for you in general. Next we go for the triple elemental hero Voltic. Now this guy is the source of the name of the deck, he's the namesake of the deck basically. When he inflicts battle damage to opponent, we can target one of our banished elemental hero monsters and special summon it. So things like if we banish the Shadow Mist for something, generally through the field spell, we're gonna be special summoning him back, getting things like the mask changed to our hands, so we can go into Darklaw relatively easily, while still getting his effect later on maybe. The deck is very, very OTK centric. But it needs a lot of setup in order for it to work. But it's a fantastic deck, and I urge you to try it out if you haven't tried it already, because it's a lot of fun to play. Next we go for the obligatory elemental hero Shadow Mist. This guy is just really awesome because what you're doing right now is essentially you run 3 copies of the you run essentially 6 copies of this guy in the deck already because you have the Blazeman. You can just dump your Shadow Mist, get the search of Shadow Mist, and if you happen to have a mask change on hand, you can go directly into Darklaw, which is really awesome. And then potentially, if you have a Miracle Fusion, you can even go into a Nova Master after that, which is really awesome. Next we go for the triple elemental hero Bubble Man. The same reason as why I run the elemental hero Ocean is because he's a Miracle Fusion target as well as a target for mask change to go into Mask Hero Acid and the Absolute Zero, which are some of the best fusions that elemental heroes can pump out in the game aside from Darklaw. Next, of course, we run the triple E-Call because what deck would this be without the E-Call, seriously? Now, the reason why I like E-Call over, say, running triple Rhoda is because it searches everything. I mean, we can get access to elemental hero Voltic, which we normally wouldn't be able to get with Rhoda because he's actually a Thunder type monster, believe it or not. Which is pretty weird for this deck, but you only really need E-Call because you already have the search power off of Shadow Mist as well as Blazeman, so you really don't need that much. Next we go for the one hero lives because if you activate this, you can special summon one Shadow Mist right off the bat, giving you early access to the Darklaw, which is, you have no idea how good that is. Of course, you do have to pay half your life points, but at that point, if you get this guy off early, you are in such a good position in the game, you have no idea. Next we go for the triple Miracle Fusion. This card is really good because it allows us to get out the Absolute Zero, our Shinings, as well as our Nova Master. This as well as of course the monster which you rarely will be going into, the Contrast Zero Chaos. I've never actually managed to go into this guy, but you can if you actually manage to get 2 masked heroes to your graveyard. Next we go for the triple terraforming. Terraforming is just to get to our field spell as quick as possible. Normally I run 2 copies of the field spell and 1 copy of terraforming, but in this deck it's so vital that you need 3 of these and 3 of those, just to make sure that you get to these cards as soon as possible. And of course we run the 1 Foolish Burial, which is essentially in this deck another e-call, because you're just gonna ditch the Shadow Mist and yeah, have shenanigans there. Next we run the triple Mask Charge. This card is just to get back your mask changes to your hand again, so you can go for further mask change plays and things like that, as well as you get back a hero too, so that's really cool. Next we go for the triple mask change. This is one of the better cards in this entire deck actually, because it allows us to get our acid, which is just really good because it Harpy Feather Dusters your opponent's entire back row, which is really cool. Unless you're going up against something like, oh, I don't know, artifacts, which in this case, this card fucking sucks. But if you know that you're facing off against artifacts, you're probably not going to be going into this guy a whole bunch. Next we go for the 1 Super Polymerization. This is of course a pretty decent card to go into, because the, things happen, and it's mainly there for your Stellar Knight matchup, because we're going to be going into Shining quite a lot in this deck. Now, I would have run more, and I could run more if the bandlist allowed me to, and the extract would have looked a whole lot different. But this is still a fantastic card. I don't see a reason not to run it, because heroes are amazing with it. Next we go for the triple form change. Now, why do I run form change, you may ask? Well, it's actually more of a back row thing in this deck than anything else. If your opponent targets your fusions, you can just go and say, hey, I'm not gonna let you do that, so let's just go straight into acid and blow up your entire back row in the process. And if they're even more unlucky, they're trying to target your Absolute Zero, you shuffle this guy back into extra deck, you summon acid, and you blow up everything they previously had, which is really, really cool. And yeah, that's basically it. And then finally we run the triple fusion gate. This is just the main source for the OTKs and things like that you can pull off in this, the second portion of the namesake of this deck, along with the element of Voltic, because you're going to be banishing a lot of stuff in this, and then you just summon them back with Voltic to prepare for nasty shenanigans later on down the road. And as for the extra deck, we run 1 Contrast Zero Chaos, 1 Masked Hero Dian, 1 Kamikaze, a target for the form change. Next we run, of course, the 1 Nova Master, 1 double Shining, double Acid, double Absolute Zero, 1 Koga, double Dark Law, 1 Sound Honor's Arc, and finally 1 Gaga Cowboy. And that counts up the extra deck. So tell me what you guys think about this deck, and I'm out.